We're looking next at the White House, live at Washington. U.S. President Joe Biden is making a new promise to Americans about vaccines, saying he will take new action to make sure they have a shorter wait in line. Biden's pledge to speed up vaccinations is one of the key messages last night from his first prime-time address as president. Listening in to it last night and with us this morning, Nick Harper, freelance reporter. Hope seemed to be the theme, Nick, last night for Biden's speech. Certainly loss because it's a year of the pandemic, but certainly hope looking through year two. What were the highlights that stood out for you?
Absolutely, Heather. The main message from President Biden seemed to be, hold on, the end is in sight. He asked Americans to essentially mark their calendar for July the 4th, Independence Day. That's the day that President Biden thinks the country will be able to get back to normal. Until then, he says people must continue to socially distance, they must continue to wear masks. Let's listen to what he had to say about it.
If we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. After this long, hard year, that will make this Independence Day something truly special.
President Biden also has another date in mind, May the 1st. That's the date that he wants all states to allow adults to be able to get a vaccine, to remove any eligibility requirements. So all adults, irrespective of age, irrespective of underlying health conditions. But there is a caveat to all this. Let's have a listen.
That's much earlier than expected. Let me be clear. That doesn't mean everyone's going to have that shot immediately, but it means you'll be able to get in line beginning May 1. Every adult will be eligible to get their shot.
So really trying to speed up that rollout process. And he said that his target of getting 100 million shots delivered or into people's arms in his first 100 days was ahead of schedule. He thinks that he'll reach that target within the next week and a half on his 60th day in office.
It's pretty incredible, that speed. But President Biden getting called out this morning, Nick, about some of the claims he made in the speech last night. Where are the fact checkers catching him?
That's right, Heather. Yeah, there's a couple of lines that people have paid particular attention to. One sentence that he comes back to time and again, and he mentioned it again last night. This idea that more Americans have died from COVID-19 than in World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War and 9/11 combined. Now, quite simply, that's an exaggeration. He seems to be counting it slightly differently to how the White House says that he is. If you're counting just the number of soldiers who died in combat on the battlefield, then it would be correct. But the White House is saying he's referring to all military deaths during those periods, and therefore President Biden's maths is off by about 100,000. On the $1.9 trillion relief package, he signed it yesterday. It had already been passed by Congress, but the White House is saying that the vast majority of the American people and the vast majority of Republicans support it. Polls suggest differently. One poll saying that 3/4 of Republicans are against it, which is perhaps why come next Tuesday he'll be going to Pennsylvania. Some of his team will be travelling to other parts of the country, really on a tour to push the bill, something of a belated attempt to sell it rather than a victory lap, but really trying to tell taxpayers that this is a good bill, even though some Republicans do not seem to support it. And one other fact that's come up for some criticism, Biden saying last night the Trump administration was silent and failed to respond, seems to be an exaggeration. President Trump certainly downplayed the virus, but he did speak about it. Exactly 1 year ago, he also made a primetime address to the American public in which he spoke about COVID-19.
Nick, thank you very much for this week. Freelance reporter Nick Harper is with us from Washington.